Wagwan Generals, welcome back to the Shift Gear podcast. We're going to start the episode in a different way this time. I actually have a what's more likely game that we can go through and play real quick.
Okay.
So all y'all know, none of this is scripted. We kind of just for the lack of a better term, we raw dog everything here. So we're going in right off the bat with some anti-ad, definitely getting demonetized stuff. But let's start right from the top. So what is more likely to happen? Okay, there's three options. First option, the Eglinton LRT completes by the end of 2025. Okay, first option.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the Eglinton Light Rail Transit. It's like a infamous Toronto transit system that's been delayed for 10 years. Okay, first option.
Okay.
The second option, Gabriel Fernandez was innocent this entire time, and he's still innocent. Okay. The third option, Shift Gear comes out and there's no issues with it whatsoever. What is the most likely of the three to happen?
Well, I think the one that we're the most in control of, Aneil, is Shift Gear coming out without issues. So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. I don't have high hopes. I really don't. I'm in charge of screen sharing this week and doing all this stuff because Ciaran's still, I don't even know where you are, bro. I don't even know what I'm looking at, but.
I'm in Sao Paulo still.
Is this the same Airbnb?
No, it's like a hotel near the park. I'm staying here. I just wanted to stay near the park because it's nice. I can go for runs in the morning and stuff. Nice, it's a good area. And then I'm on Wednesday night. I'm flying to Stuttgart or Frankfurt, I guess, and then taking the train to Stuttgart.
Stuttgart.
Yes.
Sick. That's a freaking journey, dude.
It has been a journey, bro. I 3 regionals, or I guess special event, IC regional, back to back weekends.
That is wild.
So yeah, and then there's a long break until Toronto. So I'm looking forward to going back home, but it's been fun. I love coming to South America, Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, some of my favorite cities. So been having a good time this trip for sure.
Sick. Yeah, no, that's awesome. We where do you want to start? So you had a good run last week, and I would definitely want to recap that. We got to talk about what happened at LAIC, but I mean, this is kind of the hot topic. Do we want to start right here?
Why don't we just start with me going over my IC run, since
Sure.
that's the least interesting thing,
I
and
like
then we
that.
can
It
spend the
keeps
bulk
viewer
of the episode
retention longer. I like that. People stay.
Exactly. We gotta get that watch time. We gotta get our ad revenue up from $10 to 15, Neil.
I'm trying to make $3 this
week. So originally I got 42nd place, but now I'm 41st place.
Yeah. Sick.
with my Golden Go deck, which is not even my deck list. This is just the deck list that Christian Fontenot played at Gdansk. He got top 4 there. So I played this deck list also the weekend prior at Buenos Aires special event. I got top 32 at that one. I lost 2 win-ins. I lost my second one to Cornerstone because I didn't play a counter. So I think going into this weekend, my big decision was, do I respect Cornerstone or not? And I guess the obvious card to slot in for that is Mega Mawile. You could also play the Mega Lucario, which we can talk about that later. There's a couple in top 8 lists that were playing those. So for me, my thing with Mega Mawile was, it just feels so bad to play because it's such a mediocre card in most scenarios. If you start with it in a matchup that's not what it's used for, it's pretty much game losing to have a 3-prizer on the board a lot of the time. And also it's just I don't know, I expected the Absol deck to be a 5% deck. I thought maybe some lists wouldn't even play Cornerstone. And I actually played against one that didn't play Corner. And I was wrong with that prediction because I think Absol ended up being 8 or 9%. So I don't know. I was basically just is it worth it for me to tech for a 5% matchup and grief basically the rest of my matchups by playing this card or introducing a bad starter? So a lot of times I'm just you can't beat everything. If I hit it, I hit it. So that was kind of my rationale. Looking back, maybe that was the wrong decision with how popular the Absol box ended up being, especially by the top players. I think a majority of the Japanese players, they were playing it, and most of them were hanging around the top tables. I think I saw a tweet that 10 of 11 Japanese players made day 2 at LAIC, except for my good friend did not make day 2. But yeah, so
karma's a dish best served cold, my friend.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know. That was basically my rationale. I like to play consistent lists. I don't like introducing bad cards to them. Because I would have probably had to cut the second Artisan, maybe the Picnic Basket, the Lana's Aid, all cards that I find are just good in general. I mean, Basket's a bit targeted for some matchups, but no, I was happy with my decision. I lost to 1 Cornerstone, but honestly, over how many rounds was this tournament? 14? Yeah, over 14 rounds, you can lose a game to Corner and then beat everything else, right? So Also, the night before, Henry Chow was like yelling at me to basically play Guardy Jelly. So I almost switched last minute. I actually like rebuilt my jelly deck, but I was like, you know what? I always practice. I gotta practice what I preach. I'm always preaching to play what you know best, and that's Golden Go for me. So I definitely would not be one of the best jelly guardy players in the room, but I definitely felt I'm one of the better Dango players in the room. So I ended up going with the Dango rocks. So that was kind of my decision. And yeah, I think I had a pretty solid tournament. I lost round one, which was not good. I lost to Django, which was kind of annoying. I had a key turn where I just did not draw energy off of a lunar cycle, and that kind of messed me up. But then I rattled off 6 in a row. I beat some bad matchups in there. I beat Saraledge. I beat an Absol Crustle deck as well against Diego Raths, actually former LAIC champion. And then, yeah, like look at his list. He played 2-2. Oh, he played 2-2 Crustle. I thought he played 2-1 Crustle. But yeah, I somehow beat this. He didn't draw the best, but I think he also overbenched a little bit, and I was able to take advantage. So that was hype. And Neil, actually, you're gonna like this. I didn't tell you because I was gonna save it for the pod. So if you look at my opponent the round before, Dominique. So when she sat down at her table, the first thing she said was "Wagwan Generals,"
Yo,
and she
let's
was like,
go, bro.
she was a big shift gear enjoyer. So Dominique, if you listen to this episode,
Shout
it
out
was a
Dominique for
pleasure to
real,
play you.
man. That's
Yeah,
crazy to have it all the way down in Brazil. You're hitting the Wagwan Generals. That's big stuff. Shout out Dominique.
yeah, yeah. So she actually has like her own YouTube and like Instagram. She's more famous than us actually, Neil. So that was
That's not hard to do.
I appreciate the support. So
I
that
will
was
be
a fun
subscribing to
set.
Dominique's YouTube channel right after this and launching the fattest Wagwan Generals in all caps from the Shift Gear account. Don't you worry.
Okay, I'm looking at her. The handle is Latia Coso. So if you guys want to go follow her, or Neil, you can go
I
subscribe
don't know how
after.
the hell
But
to spell that, but I'm gonna ask you for that link later, respectfully.
I will. So yeah, that was a fun set. Yeah, I finished phase one with a tie, which was really annoying. And then I finished the day with a win. So I was 7-1-1 going to bed, I guess, that night. So going into the second day, I guess the second part of phase two, I needed to go 4-1 to um, make top cut. And I think I would have dodged Jason for sure, actually, if I went 4-1. Or not for sure, actually. I think that would have been ASIM record. But yeah, so the first round I was on stream. So I got paired against Daichi, and I saw he's from Japan. I know who Daichi is, obviously, because he got second in the world. He's a great player. And I was kind of annoyed because like I just assumed he was playing Absol corner. But then I go to sit down at my table and like they have like the classic, like the guy with that little paper thing that says, okay, you're the stream match. So okay, I'm like, okay, they would not pick me as the stream match if he was playing Cornerstone. So that made me feel a bit better. So I wasn't even sure if he was playing Absol. But yeah, game one, he flipped over the Absol, or he flipped over Mega Pokemon. So I knew this was what he was playing. And then I was like, okay, as long as I don't see Cornerstone, we should be good. But when he did the turn one trolley, there's no corner. I was pretty hype. But yeah, like the first game was like smooth sailing. The second game, like he just frillish locked me, and I do like absolutely nothing. So I actually think the game was still winnable, but I made like the decision to scoop it up because I think there was like 23 minutes left ish, and I feel like I had the advantage going second in the
You're
final
thinking your
game.
odds there going into game three, right?
Yeah, so I went to game three. I think I made some like small mistakes in terms of like resource management, like sequencing stuff, because I think I was trying to play too fast because definitely like his pace was a bit slower than mine. And the last turn of the game was a little unfortunate. I don't know. Did you watch the game, Aneil, or
It
no?
was the one stream match I actually didn't watch for the week. I actually didn't know you were on stream until you just told me like 5 seconds ago.
Oh yeah,
For what, bro? For once in my life, I was actually watching stream and I actually missed the one game that I would have investment in. So sorry, I'll watch it back.
yeah. Well, anyways, I was just gonna say like the very last turn, I was a little bit annoyed. So I mean, I don't know for sure, but like I basically got like blatantly slow played like on the
Nice,
last turn, the
classic.
penultimate turn. Like he was in like a super losing position. I went back and watched it before the pod to make sure I educated myself before I said anything. But like the first action of his turn took like 40 seconds. Uh, so it was like a bit ridiculous. Like his whole turn took like almost like 3 minutes to
Yeah.
like basically do like two things. And then like I tied, unfortunately, which was really annoying. And even like during the stream, like I kept looking at the judges, being like, "Hey, like guys, like come on, like enforce some slow play here."
Yeah.
And they told him like, "Okay, you have to make an action." And then he like still like stood, he like didn't do anything for like another like 15 seconds.
Damn.
There's no time extension or anything. And then after the match, I tried to talk to the judges, but they're like, "Hey, you have to go to your next game." Like they didn't really want to discuss it, which was a bit frustrating for me. And we can talk, I guess, about pace of play. And I guess we're going to talk a lot about things similar to that when we talk about Gabriel's DQ and all that. But yeah, so that was a bit annoying. I definitely could have played better. Um, and I got punished for not playing well because I hit Cornerstone literally the very next round. Uh, So yeah, that was kind of annoying, but like I said, I kind of accepted that if I hit one, I hit one. I was gonna lose.
Yeah.
So I mean, I lost that one. That one sucked that I was not get top cut. But then I won two Marys back to back to put myself in a situation where if I won my last round, I would get top 32, potentially top 16. It was against Grim, so my opponent offered me an ID, but I played because it's a good matchup. Like game one, I kind of just like lost. I just didn't get what I needed. And then game two, I went like second, and I searched for my Soul Rock because I needed to do Lunar Cycle, and I prized both my Soul Rocks.
Nice.
But bro still wanted the ID, so I'm like, okay, I'll take the ID from this position down a game
Yeah.
that both Soul Rocks prized. So uh, I would have still snuck into top 64 if I lost, but I would have been on the bubble. So I was like, you know what, let's just guarantee the 2K. That pays for like all my flights for the trip that I'm doing.
So wait, hang on. So you prize double Soul Rock, and you're like, yo, you still down for the ID? And the guy said yes.
Yes.
That's incredible.
I mean, I think his open was also not that good in the second game. Like, I don't think his hand was that strong either.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, his
but
hand had to
my
be
hand
some
also
like
nothing.
real ass if he's taking an ID from that position, bro. Like that's that's crazy. And like I've seen this name before. This guy's like,
Yeah, I know Zach. I've
yeah,
played him before. He's a chill dude. He's a ball knower,
yeah.
fellow ball knower, which is awesome. So,
Shout out,
no, he's
bro.
a chill dude. So, yeah. We actually had a really funny situation after our match too, where like they deck checked us and we're like, oh, like we're not making ASIM, but they're like, no, we have to take your decks. So we're like, all right, whatever. And they brought them back and they're like, okay, we need to hold these until ASIM starts.
That's
And
crazy.
we're like, yeah, we're not in ASIM.
Yeah.
And then after like literally like 5 minutes of back and forth, they finally like understood, or like maybe they just miscommunicated the protocol
Yeah.
and they just gave it back. It was just kind of funny. Like, so
Sick.
yeah, so that was my run. I mean, overall, like it's a pretty decent run. Like top 64 in IC, it's not bad. Like it's a lot of points. I mean, obviously I want to do better, but I think for how I played this weekend, I thought this was actually probably like a fair outcome for me. So that's
Sweet.
my
Yeah.
recap of my tournament.
Yeah, solid run. And like at the ICs, like these runs that feel kind of mediocre are never actually mediocre because you're getting like fat influx of points and money. So
Yep.
chilling, bro. Good run. Good run. Okay.
Thank you,
I
thank
can
you.
check out the rest. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. I don't know. So myself going into this, I didn't really know what to expect. As like it was weird because I'm not used to being the spectator, but it was really fun to sit there and just like kind of analyze what the meta is and see what I was expecting and what I wasn't expecting. And like this top cut actually represents, I think, really well what this meta is. Like there's a nice balance of like top tier decks. There's nothing like too crazy, nothing too concentrated, but like you can see everything's basically represented. The one thing I'd say that isn't represented here that I thought would be Charizard. That was the one variant that I didn't see up here that I thought I would. But other than that, I mean, very status quo. Pedro Pertusi and Sebastian Lashman, one of the most like ridiculous finals ever, just because of the circumstance. Shout out to Sebastian. Actually, he handled it really well, really well. Like that's a tough spot to be in. You never want to be like the pity finalist, but hey, when the pity finalist tag comes with an extra like $5,000, like you'll probably take it, right? So we start with Pedro's list. I don't know how much you've looked at this. I had a peek at this. I actually really liked this list, but I'll take your thoughts on this first.
Yeah, so I think one thing I saw a lot of players adapting from some lists in Vegas was the double charm. So I think the double charm helps a lot in the Golden Go matchup because you can charm a Frillish and then it survives the Vitality Band Soul Rock turn. So if you have two, like you can open with your Frillish with charm, and if they knock it out with Dango, you have another one. But then Pedro also played the Drifloon because I think one thing that the Jelly deck does have issues with is dealing with like the dark decks with like things that can take like basically one shot your whole board and like you not having a one prize answer back. So I think the Drifloon was actually a really neat innovation. The one card that I was actually looking at this earlier today while I was getting ready for Shift Gear that I didn't realize Pedro didn't play is he doesn't play TM Devo, which has felt like a staple in Jelly, but I
You
thought
get
about it a
ready
little
for
bit. I'm like,
shift
okay,
gear? Sorry to cut you off, but who the hell gets ready for shift gear? That's crazy.
me, bro, I take this seriously.
I don't. Yeah, no Devo is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see the logic, right? So like Devo, the matchup it traditionally is mainly there for is Dango, like you board wipe them. But with double charm, I guess you're just going for like the resource like burn with the Frillish Shuffle. And the other matchup you normally use it against is like stuff like Charizard or Grim. So I guess Pedro is basically saying like I had the Drifloon for those matchups. Now I'm going to try and beat them in a prize race or take out their big guys. So a very interesting call to omit the Devo, but I actually don't hate it. I think Charizard was positioned really poorly for this tournament. I mean, even our boy Jackson Ford like went off of Charizard because he just didn't trust the Dango matchup. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was actually a pretty reasonable call to not play Devo, and I think I like the second charm, especially when he went with this like Drifloon innovation. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I like this too, just because I like the Devo mission. I think here because you're making more space for your deck to just do what your deck does. The one beef I have with a lot of the Jelly Guardy lists, and like I've tried Henry's list multiple times, and I hate them because they're so skimpy on the Gardevoir line, which I find is like super greedy. I mean, like if your deck sets up, you're probably winning most of the games. Obviously here, the one thing that stood out to me is you don't have that retreat option, so there's no like turn one Frillish if you
Yep.
don't start it. Or start Mew, sorry. But I really do like that you play the TM Evo because you're respecting Dragapult a little bit more. Like I feel like Dragapult is something that we have to respect. Them just locking you out of rare candy and not being able to find Curly is a big deal. So I liked this list a lot, man. It feels like it kind of combined all the best of both worlds, like all into one. Like it's kind of like a straight Guardy, but also like a Jellicent Guardy. So I really like this. I personally play like one Frillish in my like straight Guardy right now just to make it
Yep.
so you have like that threat. So this really stood out to me. I still can't believe that you prepare for shift gear. That's ridiculous. I literally like went out. I was out. I fought some old guy at soccer, and I came home, took a shower, and hopped on the mic with you. There was no prep put into this whatsoever. And then I immediately slipped up like 5 seconds into the thing and said something that's probably gonna get us demonetized. So like that's cool. That's cool. So let's look at Sebastian's list real quick. I understand we're getting to that point with Jelly Guardian. People are like, all right, man, it's the same list. Stop showing me this. But do you have any thoughts on this variant, which as well did not include a retreat option?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I guess, like you said, like these are pretty similar lists at this point. I mean, this one obviously omits the Drifloon, but still has the double charm to help with the Golden Go matchup. And I guess it also gives you, if you want to have some more prize trading options, I guess you can use Screamtail more aggressively in the game. I think maybe the way to compare it is maybe like looking at this compared to maybe with the Henry Chow build. So maybe if you just click on Henry's list, I think he got top 16. We can compare those. But yeah, I mean, this is basically just plays Devo instead of the Drifloon, I think, compared to Pedro's list.
Yeah, I have nothing else to really say about this one. There's one
Yeah.
less supporter, I think, than the usual builds, which gives me a little bit of concern, but I think it is an okay list for sure, and he did very well. So I mean, who am I to question it? Let's move down
Yeah.
to
Like, click on Henry's list. I just want
yeah.
before we like jump off of Jelly Guardy. Okay, so like this is like the big difference, I guess, is like like having the retreat option turn one. So this is basically the list they played at Vegas. They cut the research for second Jelly. Like that was their answer to Mirror. Because in Mirror, it's basically whoever loses, like gets the Jellicent, like is very favored.
Yeah.
And if your Jellicent gets knocked out by their Jellicent, like obviously you can't play Stretcher or Rod. So they put second Jelly for that case, and also just to draw it more naturally under item lock. So I don't know, I thought it was interesting. The Latios is a bit awkward for me whenever I play this build, because like, you always have to Turo it if you want to like go into like the Frillish Shuffle, for example.
Yeah.
But I think turn one Frillish is like super strong. Like just having the option to like scam games is very appealing, I think. So it's definitely two interesting takes on the deck. And I guess also like you were saying, you don't like the thin Gardevoir line, but the idea is with this build is if you're doing Frillish turn one, like it kind of protects your Ralts, because it's kind of hard for a lot of decks to set up and then also get a Gust. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the logic behind why you can play a 2-1-2 line when you're playing the Latios plus Frillish.
Makes a lot of sense. You play the extra nest ball at the cost of an Arizon. Like, I mean, you do have that extra search. And, like, the one thing about this that I really like as well with the second Jelly is that you play around Bundle, or at least you can, which is pretty cool, too. So that's another, like, cool addition. But, like, yeah, like I said, like, the 2-1-2 never really resonated with me. And just, like, it's just a little too thin. I want to just play the game. I don't like skimping out from playing the game. But, yeah, definitely, like, a bunch of different takes. Which one is correct? Who the hell knows? But they're all pretty cool. So let's move on. We got a Mega Absol. You mentioned a lot of the Japanese players were on this deck. We can go through this real quick. Pretty bare bones list. I mean, I don't see anything really here that stands out to me. Anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this deck is more or less solved, right? Like if you want to play the corner, you play like a list similar to this. If you want to play the not corner, you play the list that with the attacks. I mean, I guess Daichi played the Frillish, which was actually kind of interesting as his Dango answer. I don't know if it's really enough, but I mean, it worked against me. So yeah, I mean, I think this is basically just like we know this deck is good now. A lot of top players seem to be playing this list. The Australians actually had an interesting list. They basically played something similar, but instead of the Lively Stadium, they played like Calamitous Mountain, like the one that puts 2 damage counters when you put Pokemon in play.
Yep.
So that you could generate your own Monkey Dory damage, which I thought was interesting. So there has been innovation on the list. I think Brent said he thought the stadium was mediocre, but he said it was a lot better than the Lively Stadium, or at least in his opinion and the Aussies' opinion. So I thought that was also kind of interesting. So yeah, it just seems like Mega Absol is in a good place. I'm curious how it's going to fare in the Phantasmal Flames format because Gardevoir is getting Diancie. So they do have a not Dark Week Pokemon to fight back a little bit. But I guess we'll have to see after this weekend's regional if Absol still stays as a top tier meta deck.
I found it makes a big difference so far. I've been playing a little bit of Gardevoir with DNC on ladder, and it does seem like you have a bit of a better option than you used to have, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm curious to see that too. So let's go to Simone's list, our Canadian boy. See what we got going on here. So we have the Mega Lucario. He showed this off on stream. Pretty dope. I am not the resident Goldengo player, so I will not even speak to this. I'll let you take this away. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, like obviously Lucario is there to respect the Cornerstone. It also counterintuitively is actually pretty good against Jellicent, even though it's weak to Psychic, because you can stop the Frivolous Shuffle as long as you have a big enough prize lead that they can't take advantage of it. My problem with this list is you have a way worse mirror match. Like not having Prime Catcher to put pressure and then not having the Power Pro to be able to one-shot your opponent's Solrock. So I think basically Simone traded mirror power for a little bit of a better matchup into Jelly and into Absol, which a lot of the best players were playing. So, I mean, it obviously paid off for him. I mean, look, he beat three Dangos.
Yeah.
I mean, the one is that one not a Rocks Dango? What is this? Like, click on this guy's list. Scizor. Oh, it's like Scizor Dango. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm actually surprised he beat a couple of the mirrors without it, because I think he's definitely, especially he beat Benny. I wonder what happened in that matchup, because Benny's list was Cramorant and the Power Pro. So yeah, I think you're definitely trading mirror power for other matchup power, which is a reasonable thing to do. Like you can see here, he beat Henry Chow in the win in.
It's a crazy gauntlet. Both Fernandez brothers, Benny and Henry.
I mean, yeah, when you're getting the top tables in IC, right? That's kind of how it goes. So, and then he did lose actually to Cornerstone in top 8. I'm curious if he prized like the Riolu or something, but yeah, I think it's a solid list given the meta. And then you can also click Aneil if you want on Elia's list. He also played Mega Lucario, but he played a little bit different. He played Prime Catcher with the Lavincia. So he really teched for item lock here and the corner. He also doesn't play it's interesting, they're not playing Power Pro, but they still play the Bit Band for the Jelly Guardy. So again, like this list is like solid. I think I like Prime Catcher as the ace spec, but I just think without the Power Pro, I think your mirror is a lot weaker against strong Golden Go players. So
sick Riolu too.
Yeah, he plays Poffin, so he plays the 70 HP Riolu.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And if we stick with Dango, we can go to Benny's list last. I mean, Benny's list is the most standard, I guess. Not really, actually. He played the Cram and the Mawile. So instead of the Lucario taking up 2 spots, he just played the Mawile. Then he had the Cram, the Vit Band, and the Power Pro. So really respecting mirror.
And 3 Dango.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the big thing is that he got a Dango, which, I don't hate, actually. I mean, this build plays a lot more with Solrock and Lunatone in the early game. If you prize a Dango, it's a bit annoying, but you also play Super Rod in this build. So if you discard one or gets knocked out, you can get him back. So I actually do not hate that innovation. I think it's something that might actually pick up some steam going forward, since people, like the list is kind of tight. So like if you want to find a spot, like that's probably a spot people will cut from in their Dango decks. So yeah, I think this was probably my favorite of the list for sure. And big shout out to Benny, first top cut Masters, also rep in Canada. So you love to see it.
Other than that, we have a Dragon Ball Dusknoir up here.
I mean, bro, at this point, like every Dragon Ball list is like
except this
same.
one isn't, which is crazy.
You're right. Actually, it has 1/1/1 Dusknoir. They added the second Dust Ball in favor of the second Duskull, and actually, I don't know if they cut the second Duskull before, but
it looks like they're playing an extra supporter.
Oh, they're playing an extra stretcher because I think most lists went down to 2.
Yeah, 2 is crazy to me. Now they're up at 3, which is nice. You also play the extra Pult. Like I saw a lot of lists cheating down to 2, and you play Monkey Dory. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, it does feel like, so one of the decks I was testing going to Vegas was straight Pult, because I just felt like there's a world where straight Pult is still good. And I think that what that taught me was that Dusknoir is really, really good, but you don't need it all the time. So I think this list kind of encapsulates both of those things, right? Like you have a thinner Dusknoir line, you need it when you need it. It helps you reach maybe once, maybe twice a game. But other than that, you don't have random ghosts clogging up your deck, and you're not playing a bricky version of Dragon Ball because you have more supporters and you have less ghosts. So, I mean, I really like it. I really think this is cool. I'd love to see how people adopt this. I do think it gets a little bit tricky when you prize one of these pieces. So you don't play Candy.
We saw that in did you watch Justin against Sebastian?
I had to step out before top 8. Is that what happened?
Yeah, like Justin would have won game 3 if he didn't prize Dusclops.
Okay.
or it was Dusk. Anyway, he prized one of like the Dusk or the Dusclops and like just lost in the game.
I suppose it's a risk you take.
Yes, that is the risk you take.
Yeah,
But
but other
no,
than
I agree with
that,
everything
really
else you're
cool.
saying.
Pop into this real
I
quick.
just also want to say too about that. Like, it's kind of cool to see Justin top cutting that IC because like he was like, I mean, he was in seniors the same time as Gabrielle, but he was also one of the strongest, I think, seniors of all time. So seeing him in his first year in Masters making top cut is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
For sure. Then sorry, and then like you were gonna look at the other Absol list. I think it was pretty much the same thing
Yeah,
as
I was
the
uninterested.
other one. Yeah, there's only one corner in this one. There's the hammer for mirror.
Hammer and Zerosic.
There's Rosic. Yeah, there's Rosic area package. So yeah.
Pretty cool.
There's a Grim. That was pretty hype. I mean, okay, the one thing I noticed when I looked at this list earlier is there's no Nest Ball, which I find crazy. They play second Ultra Ball instead. Which, I mean, Ultra Ball and Grim is really hard because there's not that many cards you want to discard.
Yeah.
So everything else about the list I think is fine. Like they play Vessel and 9 Dark, which I don't like. I think that's a waste of the space. You don't need 9 Dark and a Vessel. I think if you're playing 9 Dark, I think you cut the Vessel. Because also like I don't know, 2/2 Frost Last, you prize any piece of the line. Like your Dango matchup is just cooked. Actually, click on his matchups. How many Dangos did he hit? Let's
0.
see. 0. Okay, that makes sense why this guy got 9th place. Okay.
that checks out.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. Okay. I love Grim. Obviously, it's one of my favorite decks, but yeah.
We don't need to look at everything, just maybe the ones of interest.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty similar like the Cape Zorak we've been seeing. Him and his brother have been playing this for a little while. I mean, again, this deck is a horrible Dango matchup, but from my understanding, their philosophy is like if you get to top tables, most of the players are just playing the other decks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like Zorks continue to do well in the hands of good players, so.
This is cool. Yeah, they got the double patch going on. I really like that. Double patch, double watchtower is sick. You're playing like this is just like it just feels like more of a control-y kind of build. You have 3 Janines to power up your Okidogi, which is pretty cool too. So I can tell that he anticipated a pretty heavy like Absol presence. You got the Hero's Cape. Like this is cool. I mean, this is a different take on Zorak, and I think the big thing I've learned over the last week of like I started a series on YouTube like learning Zorak, where I like started from 0 and just try to learn. And what I've learned in the last week is that Zorak is entirely about how you build the deck for what meta, and less about like playing it. It's just literally about what choices do you make in the right meta, and are you making the right choices for the tournament. So that clearly was a correct choice. He did very well. So up in top 16 for Zorak.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple other decks we don't really have to spend that much time. There's like a Flareon in top 32. Yeah, you can spend. Okay, if you want to spend time, spend time.
I need a second on this. What do we got going on here? There's a lot going on. All right. We got a Flareon box. I still reserve that this deck is good. I say this every week. I still think this deck is good in the right hands. Sure, it's really hard to play. Sure, sometimes you're going to brick, but this deck is so good and so fun. I think the day it rotates, I'm going to be really, really sad. We got the 2 Crispin going on here. This is like a personal beef of mine. I don't understand how you play with 2 Crispin, but hey, to each their own. Other than that, a lot of tricks in here. You got the Trumpet E-Switch. You got the 101 Pidgeot. You got the Terapagos in here too. One of the things that the EV lists have been cutting recently is a 70 HP EV, so you can no longer colorful friends, which low-key is kind of depressing because that attack is sick. But yeah, just wanted to give this deck a moment because it deserves it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a Joltik box. I mean, Joltik box is like decent matchups, but yeah, it's just Joltik box.
Yeah, and I think that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, Sheldon got top 32 with Pulsar, which is kind of cool. I actually think Pulsar, if you play Halucha, has a better Dango matchup than normal Charizard. But yeah, I don't know. It's just cool. I mean, this deck's kind of fallen off, but to see it be the highest placing Charizard deck. Because I think after the Pulsar, I think like the next Charizard deck is like 70th something. So.
Got a Terra box here too. This is a really cool version where you play the Leafeon and the Flareon to kind of like just help your matchups out a little bit. The Leafeon is so dope, man. I like that card is so good. I would consider not even playing the Flareon in this build, and just play the Leafeon. The Leafeon is that good. But the Flareon obviously helps with accelerating. You put on a lot of pressure with the Ogremon, both of them. Yeah, he has the second one. So that is cool. That is cool. Yeah, I think other than that, we're pretty much good.
Yeah, I mean, now we're getting down to like top 128 and stuff.
All right, let's talk about cool stuff.
All right, so yeah, this is probably gonna take the bulk of our episode. And Neil, this is probably the highest highest profile DQ probably in the history of the game.
I think so.
I think just the size of what our game is now and the player it affected. I mean, Gabriel, we've talked about him a lot. I think everyone in the community knows who he is. He won all 3 ICs and seniors. He's a world champion. Probably like the biggest like prodigy we've ever seen in Pokemon. His start to his master season was like nothing short of amazing. He top cut, I think, Lille. I mean, he was undefeated into the finals of this tournament, and then he got disqualified. So maybe if you want to open up the Play Pokemon tweet first.
Sure.
So yeah, so I think the first thing we need to talk about. So we'll talk about the actual cheating, the incident. Then I think we have to also talk about how Pokemon themselves handled it, or I guess how they didn't really handle it, and all that stuff. So the night before the finals, there was rumblings. I'm sure if any of you guys are in Discords or on Twitter, that Gabriel had gotten disqualified from the tournament. These were all rumors, right? A lot of people were tweeting like crazy. A lot of people were deleting their tweets. And then Sunday morning before the finals, Play Pokemon Twitter released a statement that said, as a result of a post-game ruling, there has been an adjustment to our 2026 TCG Masters finals this weekend. Please see below for the updated information, right? So they released this tweet about a few hours before Masters finals was supposed to start, basically confirming that Gabriel had gotten disqualified. And Gabriel basically said that he was not told that he was disqualified until the morning of the event, or like when he went to the venue. So the first thing that I think is a bit crazy is if Gabriel truly was not made aware of his disqualification before it was getting leaked into the Twitter sphere. Now, I have to preface this by saying Pokemon has not made a statement, so we don't know 100% what happened. So I'm not saying Gabriel's lying or anything, but I don't know if we can 100% take everything at face value, but if we do, he was not made aware. So I can only imagine him like going to bed on Saturday thinking he's going to play the finals and then hearing all these rumors that he's getting disqualified instead.
Yeah.
So I think that first, if that is true, that is like beyond unprofessional and unacceptable from TPCI and like the tournament staff for letting that information leak. If they were going to disqualify him, I think they should have probably told him the day before or tried to get in contact with him for sure. So that's my first opinion. Before I keep rambling, Neil, any thoughts on what I just talked about?
Not really. I think you hit the hammer on the head, or hit the nail on the head with the hammer. It's late. I'm sorry. I think I agree that the communication should have been better. I think the way it was handled was weak. I think that he should know these things before he leaves the venue, because you're not going to figure this out after he leaves the venue, in my opinion. Like, if you're going to DQ him, you're going to DQ him there because you saw something in real time. They're not like, maybe they are actually VAR checking this like when he leaves.
I think that's what happened, right? It says post-game ruling, so
Okay.
they definitely looked at it after.
So they VAR checked bro, and he got absolutely axed. I mean, like, I felt more bad for Sebastian. I was like, bro, that's tough. But he ended up being in a fortuitous spot where he benefited from this. It's just, I think he just got caught in the crossfire a little bit with that stuff. He handled it gracefully, handled it perfectly. But yeah, I think you're right with that. I think that he should definitely know before the next morning. I would be very hard pressed to believe that they didn't at least send him an email and maybe he just didn't see it, or they tried something. I don't see how they would let him come to the event to tell him. Like, there's nothing that he gains from the tournament staff being like, oh, let's just let him show up tomorrow and tell him in person, right? Like, I think it has to be an email like, hey, please come see us, or whatever. Like, there has to be some sort of communication. So other than that, no, you hit it on the head. I'd also like to discuss the fact that Brock Purdy and Mike Tomlin are my two top on what's happening on trending. So clearly I'm not in the right headspace.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will let you continue rambling. Maybe we can look at Gabriel's statement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Like, I actually believe that like they probably didn't tell him. Because they sent him an email or something, I feel like he would have like just posted a screenshot or something.
But why wouldn't they? That's what I want to figure out. Like, what's the point of not telling him?
Well, and we'll get into this more because like Pokemon just like doesn't comment on this stuff, right? So by like sending out an email to him, like that's like it's not really a statement publicly, but like he's probably gonna post it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they just think it's unprofessional for like judges to be like emailing players or something. I don't know. Like, my guess is what probably happened is they had to tell Sebastian that he's moving on to the finals just in case he had a flight or he's going to leave because they need him to come the next day. I'm not saying Sebastian leaked or anything, but I'm sure like someone just figured out, or maybe like, I don't know.
I was told that
Somehow it got out.
Sebastian got notified like an hour after the top four match that he was going to be playing the next day. That's what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then if that's true, then like he knew, and then like I'm sure like a lot of people had to have known. I'm sure like production staff know, like the judges obviously know.
I guess it's like how you can't break up with someone over text. It's like, come see me IRL. Like maybe it's one of those where they're like, if we do this over email, it could be misconstrued or whatever. Like they're thinking about like all the issues that could come of it. Maybe you're right about that one actually.
So here, this is Gabriel's statement. He released this the morning of the finals, and he released this actually very shortly after the Pokemon tweet. I think it was like 20 minutes after something. He said, got DQ'd at LAIC because I did a riffle shuffle once for Sebastian on top 4 stream with the cards facing me. You can see that on stream, and I don't see a big problem because I did randomize it a lot with mass shuffling and facing the other way after that riffle. But the judge said I didn't do it enough. To be honest, I'm not a magician, and they said I memorized a bunch of cards, so after Sebastian shuffled my deck as well, I knew the order of my deck. I have never cheated / stacked in a game, so that's rock bottom for me from celebrating my undefeated run and facing a friend in finals to getting DQ'd for not apparently shuffling enough, so I could memorize cards after Sebastian shuffled my deck. At Gdansk's stream, I asked the judge if that shuffle was fine, and he said, okay, if you randomize it a ton after, but now this happened. Well, thanks to all the kind people who looked up to me and took pictures with me during the events. You guys are the one who motivated me to become better every day. I am officially retiring from Pokemon. And then he had a follow-up tweet where he said, I've seen some people talk about hand signals. That did not happen. Even the judges confirmed. They talked to me today at the venue, and it was the stupid riffle shuffle. So the hand signal thing was, there was a lot of rumors the night before basically saying he was going to get DQ'd because his brother hand signaled him in the crowd or something. So he's saying that's not involved. He's basically saying it's because of this riffle shuffle.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing to say is Pokemon hasn't come out and said why he got disqualified, and they probably never will. Because we've seen that's not how they handle disqualifications. So this is all we have to go off of, right? So for all we know, this might not be what happened. I mean, most likely this is probably why he got disqualified. But if Pokemon's never going to make a statement, we only really can take listen to the player side and kind of like make our opinion off of that. So I guess, Neil, what are your thoughts, I guess, about the situation and I guess Gabriel's statement here about what happened?
The hand signals thing was hilarious, first of all, because I was picturing like, you know how like the old umpires would do like the hand signals underneath their crotch just to like send the signal to the pitcher. That's what I was picturing, just like Vinny in the crowd just sending him hand signals. I thought that one was a little bit far-fetched. Like that one didn't really make much sense to me in the first place, so I'm glad to see that's not the case. I don't know. So we, like, you and I try to be very careful when commenting on things like this, right? There's always like, you never want to get caught in some sort of crossfire, so I'm going to reserve like most of what I think about this just to be safe. What I will say is this: I saw a video where it looked like the card that was randomized, I don't know if you saw this, but there was the card that was flash was turned upside down.
You can go to it we can go like click on the next tweet on Gabriel's profile, the one where there's a video of him shuffling, and just click on it. Yeah, the first response is the slow motion one
is a lot.
that you're talking about.
Sorry.
So actually, if you want, we can watch this one first in full speed, like
right there.
So, yeah.
Right there.
Okay, but there's a slow down video. Wait, go back. Okay, so you're click on this, yeah. Okay, then the first response is the slowed down one.
All right, let's see this.
Okay, so this is apparently the moment. So he's shuffling, looking towards himself. This one card comes up, and you can see him push it back down. Now it's on the top of the deck in his left hand.
Yeah. He's
riffle shuffling, and it looks like right now it's still on the top, right? So it doesn't matter if he mashes his deck like 9 times. If like the card doesn't move, there's like a rule about insufficient randomization. So I mean, it's a little blurry for me, but like so far it looks like the top card isn't changing, right?
I believe you're correct.
Yeah. So my guess, I was gonna say, like, the judges probably looked at this. They determined it's a little weird that this top card got moved like that, pushed down. Gabriel's obviously looking at his deck with his deck like facing towards him as he's shuffling, so he can obviously see what the cards are. And then I guess they watched his mass shuffles, and the top card didn't change. So that is probably where the disqualification came from. So insufficient randomization is in the rule book. It's like definitely a penalty. Now, what raises it to a disqualification is if they think there's like intent to cheat with it. So that's obviously, I guess, what the judges determined. They think that it was not sufficient randomization. So yeah, here's it in real time. So he's not looking at his deck when he shuffles now, but I guess they're saying like they think he saw the top card and then he just didn't shuffle it properly.
Yeah, it's
so
For me, man, it's all about intent, right? It's all about intent. Like this stuff, I've seen like the most innocent players not properly randomize their decks. So the thing that matters the most to me in this situation,
Much better.
Sorry, I keep clicking on the audio by accident. The thing that matters to me the most in this situation is the context of what's going on. So what is that card, right? That's the first question. B,
Yep.
that card not moving onto the top, does that benefit him in some way? Because that deck is getting cut. So that's my second question. And then C, why? Like what is the context of the game where he needs this card or whatever? But like when you look at that, that is super suspect, right? You see the way the card like props out and props back in, like that's not normal. What I will say is with this kind of situation, I would always give the benefit of a doubt to the player and saying like, oh, maybe the card slipped or whatever. But there are a lot of prior allegations here. That's the thing that disturbs me a little bit about this whole situation. Like the first allegation came out, the second allegation came out. I was cool giving Gabe the entire like benefit of a doubt because he's a great player. You can tell he's a great player. Even to this day, I'm not taking sides on this, whether he's guilty or not guilty. That's not for me to decide. But this looks bad is what I would say. And like, just given the amount of evidence that's piling up, I don't love the look. I'll let you speak to it for a bit before I continue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think it's just kind of dumb to shuffle your deck looking towards you while you look at it like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a natural thing to do. Like, the only times I ever shuffle my deck like that is literally when I'm picking up my cards between games before I flip it over and then, like, do a proper shuffle. In the middle of the game, you should, like, never shuffle like that, right? Because, I mean, we even saw there was a stream game, I think it was between, like, Hunter and Josh, like, on day one, where, like, Hunter was shuffling his deck, like, a card flipped, and they gave him a DPL because they're like, oh, you gain knowledge, which I disagreed with that DPL. But anyways, but if you're looking at your deck while you shuffle, it's the same thing, right? Like, you're seeing the cards. And now, obviously, Gabriel's a good enough player that he knows his prizes. He prize checks. But, I mean, you could say, like, oh, what if he forgot his prizes? He's looking at it, trying to see what's there. In terms of, like, leaving a card on top when you're going to let your opponent cut, like, I don't know, maybe it's, like, a card he doesn't want to draw. So he's putting it on the top. I don't know. My gut instinct is always just, like, it makes no sense to cheat on stream.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, like, it's recorded. Like, you can get watched. So I'd like to believe this wasn't intentional, but like you're saying, like it just looks so bad. It's like just looking at your deck and then like the top card not changing. Like, I mean, like I don't fault the judges for like thinking this is enough for like a disqualification because it does look really bad.
Yeah.
And to your other point, like yeah, there have been some allegations coming out. There was one a few weeks ago or a month ago from Lille Regionals where Mateus, I forgot his last name, from Poland was basically saying that Gabriel like was looking at his cards and then like did an extra trade with Zork. And then there was at Worlds where like the superior energy flipped over, which was also a little strange, but again, didn't really make sense why he would do that. So yeah, it's not a great look that there's been a lot of things coming out the past few months. I don't know, like my gut is like I don't know, it makes no sense to cheat on stream, but I guess like if you consistently cheat, maybe I don't know, you think you can get away with it or something. Like for me watching this, it's just like I'm not like sold that like this specific instance he's cheating, but like I completely understand like watching it, like why the judges would, and I think it's kind of justified to like do a disqualification from if this is truly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I'm like, why would you? That's why to me, like context is the most important part. Like, cause like, why would you cheat here? What do you need? What are you gaining? And like, there's like a billion eyes on you and you're up 1-0 It's not like you're about to lose and like, I don't know.
Yeah, in a good matchup.
Like bro's up in the series, right? And like, my thing is this, I think it's probably really, really hard to cheat in this game. I don't see how people could do it. But then I see things like this and it scares the life out of me. Cause like for guys like us who are playing cleanly, if you're playing against this in any given round and you as a human being, you're not going to notice this. You need another set of eyes to kind of see stuff like this. And if this ends up being true, if this has been happening to innocent players for years at this point, I just feel bad for everybody who got robbed of money. I feel bad for everybody who just didn't get what they deserved because of this whole like cheating thing. So I'm really hoping this isn't true. I mean, I don't know at this point, and I think if anything, the whole like retiring from Pokemon thing is really interesting to me too, because Austin was telling me that they don't make the ban list public. So I wonder if that just means I'm banned, but I don't want you to find out. So I'm
Well,
curious.
I think that's more like I'm 16. Like this is a very emotional thing that just happened to me.
Hmm.
And like that's a valid. I think he is like if Pokemon thinks that he intentionally cheated, he will get banned. And I mean like the ban list like it'll get leaked if he's banned or not. Like I know it's private, but it'll definitely get leaked. So I assume in the coming weeks, if Pokemon does think that he cheated, he'll definitely receive at least a ban of like 3 months to a year, probably, if I had to guess. But like you're kind of saying, right? Like it's like hopefully, like this isn't true. And the sad part is, like, I mean, honestly, like, there's no way for anyone to be 100% certain. Like, I always say this in situations like this, the only person with 100% certainty who knows is Gabrielle, right?
Yeah.
So if he did cheat, he's probably going to maintain his innocence. If he didn't, he's obviously going to maintain his innocence. But it is really sad if it is true, right? Because, like we were saying, that he's probably like the most hyped prospect of all time, I guess, to do a sports comparison.
Yeah.
Like he was crushing it his first year of Masters, his very first IC undefeated to the finals. Like he was on pace to be like debatably like the GOAT, right? Like at 16 doing all this stuff. And I've talked to Gabriel before. I've made videos with him. Like he's a super smart kid, like super, super good at the game. So he doesn't need to cheat to do well. So if he is, like that's really disappointing and sad. So like I said, like I don't it's like kind of hard for me like comment because like I don't really know for sure. Like there's the saying like when there's smoke, there's fire, and like
Yeah.
this isn't like the first time something like this has been brought up. So it's not a good look. But like I said, like he's the only one who knows for sure. So hopefully, like if he really did cheat, he gets banned. Hopefully he takes that time to kind of like reflect on it. If he is going to return to the game, make sure he's playing super clean, cleans up his actions, all that. But I mean, I
Yeah.
hope it's not true. But it's like I said, like there's just no way for me to know like 100%.
It
So
is really, really tough because like you want to believe the kid. At least I want to believe the kid. I think a lot
yeah,
of
for
people are just
sure.
like kind of killing him, right? And I agree to the extent of like if this kid is actually cheating or if anybody's actually cheating, get them the hell out of our game. We should
Yep,
absolutely
100%.
like apprehend them in the way that people are apprehending him. My issue with this, with the way people are going at about this, is there's just not enough evidence for me to make a concrete opinion of my own, and therefore I don't want to share it. Like that's just kind of where I'm at with the whole
Yeah.
thing. Sorry, I'm like consistently like moving my camera in and out. My girl's in the background, so I'm trying to like save this. But yeah, for me, there's not enough going on here for me to say, hey, this kid is a cheat. This kid is dirty. Like go to the grave with this because I'm A, not opinionated like that, but B, I think it's also important just to preach the whole like innocent until proven guilty thing. The judges have more info. They should be sharing it with us. I think that's another part of this that we're still like kind of touching on. These things need to be shared. There's no reason why DQs should not be shared out. I understand it might come with witch hunts, it might come with whatever, but I think it's important for the players to know who's up to stuff, like who's doing these things so that they can look out for themselves
Yep.
too. Like we pay money to travel, we pay money to do stuff. You don't want to like imagine being the guy in like round 14 who lost to this kid, right? And you got bumped out of cash. Like you lost like $2,000 to if this kid is cheating, you lost $2,000 to someone who's cheating, right? Like that's the whole thing. And then like the other thing, sorry, I know I'm ranting here, but the other thing that someone
You're
was
good.
mentioning was something about an upside down ace spec. I was hearing this rumor as well. And apparently there was an upside down card at one point in the deck, and it was very easily discernible from the outside. Again, rumors. I don't know if it's true or not. I tried it with my own deck. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can see why this would. It's like very, very noticeable if you take a deck of cards and you just like invert one card. So, anyways, I have my concerns. I think I'm more concerned about this if this kid is in fact guilty, because then I'm thinking about, oh, what could other people be doing? That's scary.
I mean, we can get into like a talk about like cheating as a whole. I think like at the end of this discussion maybe, but like I think the next point like you kind of touched on it is that we don't have a statement from like the TPCI or the judges, right? So I don't think it's a good idea for like judges individually to make a statement because that's how witch hunts happen. But I
Yeah.
actually think like it's very irresponsible and I think actually like dangerous in this specific instance for Pokemon not to release a statement. Like I was actually like it's really like sad and a little disgusting. Like how many like grown ass adults I see just like dunking on like a 16-year-old
That's what I'm
kid.
saying.
And like even if did cheat, right? Like I think it's completely fair for us to want him to be disqualified, to face repercussions, banned, whatever. But like you don't need to like attack like a literal child, and like it just feels weird like how many people like are excited by this
Mhm.
or just like really going at him, right? You want to attack the action, right? Like not the kid. So um, not that I'm not trying to like defend cheating or anything. Just the way I've seen some adults handle this was been like, a little weird for sure.
Yeah.
And basically, like just because Pokemon's not putting out a statement, right? People are making up their own opinion, right? They're calling him a liar, or they don't believe him, or right? Like we don't really know 100% what he got DQ'd for or what Pokemon saw, right? So I think for in terms of protecting the player, I think it's important that a statement comes out. I think also for um, like Pokemon, right? Like if they don't release a statement, they let the player control the narrative. So like I'm saying,
Yeah.
like there is a world where like this is not what Gabriel got DQ'd, or something completely different, and this is what he's saying, right? I think probably this is what he got disqualified for, but like we can't be 100% certain, right? And the last thing too is like for the judges, like sometimes it leaks like the judges who made the ruling because like the player will say which judge told them they got disqualified, or like you can just look up who the head judge was for an event, right? Um, and then like the judges will also get in harm's way, and Pokemon's not protecting them by backing up their ruling either. So I've actually had a really good discussion with someone who is a very experienced judge, and he's been involved in controversial rulings before, and he said uh, a lot of judges feel like Pokemon doesn't protect them because Pokemon doesn't issue statements, uh, and sometimes the narrative they think is controlled a little bit too much by the player, uh, and they can't really tell their side. So that's what I personally think. Pokemon should, for every disqualification, like literally just say at LAIC in top four, we determined Gabriel Fernandez did not sufficiently randomize his deck, blah, blah, blah. This is why he was disqualified. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing for the community to ask for.
Yeah.
Because instead, what ends up happening is there's a huge witch hunt, misinformation, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Is this the person? Is this who I think this is?
yeah, it's the guy who got Jeff banned back in
Bro, why the
2018.
hell are you commenting, bro? Go away, man. I'm sick of that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. So,
um,
I mean, like, yeah,
couldn't agree
this
more.
isn't the first time someone's gotten like DQ'd for like stacking on stream or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2018 Worlds Finals, right? The finalists got disqualified, or not disqualified. They got banned after the fact. And
Well,
I'm sure
dude,
there's
like,
other
sorry, not to
cases
cut
I
you
can't
off.
think off the top of my head. No, you're good.
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking about too is like within the last like 2 years, there's been so many DQs that like we hear about that never really blow up. So like there was like a marked ace spec like what like a month ago of like
Yeah.
a top player and nobody said a word. Like it just kind of went under the rug. And like that's cool and all if that one ace spec is an accident or whatever it is, right? Maybe you're caught in a bad situation. I totally have sympathy for that. But if the judges would put out statements, we would have a lot more to go off of. We wouldn't have to brush these things under the rug because we don't know the context of it. Like we need a little bit more transparency so that we as players a know how to protect ourselves, b know what to look out for, and c don't randomly attack people who are maybe innocent, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
sure there are points in time where if for every 10 DQs maybe one is a judge error, right? Like maybe one time the guy is actually innocent, but for that one time we need to know that context. Like we need to be able involved in those conversations. And I understand like the whole like the idea of like the PR that might come with it, like it blows up and then people just see like Pokemon as this giant like cheating game and like, you know, those tweets might go viral and people might view it differently. But I think it's important for the integrity of the game that we sit there and we know what's going on. And especially like guys like you and I, right? Like if we're going to go and we're going to report on it, we have this podcast every week that we do, like it's thousands of clicks. It's way better for Pokemon if we know what the hell is going on rather than us guessing and sitting here for half an hour speculating, right?
Yeah, I think Pokemon actually put out a statement like last year sometime, basically saying they are going to be more transparent about
Mm.
making statements. So
Mm.
maybe we will get one, and I think this situation is like so large that I think it does call for one. But who knows? Maybe they'll just kind of ignore it. But yeah, you are right. Like I think one other thing I think I want to talk about, maybe Neil, like just while we're on the topic of cheating, is like how much cheating there actually is in the game,
Mm.
right? I think how different types of cheating get handled. So I think this case, like the reason I think a lot of cheating goes unpunished is because there's so much like soft cheating I think happens in the game that's like kind of hard to punish, right?
Yeah.
Like if you attach two energies in a turn, If you let your opponent make a mistake that results in double prize penalty, right? Stuff like that. If you play a second supporter, right? Like if you get caught, like you can just say like, oh, like that was an accident. I didn't mean to, right? And like honestly, like stuff like that does happen. Like accidents do happen, right? Like I had a game at LAIC this weekend where I tried to attack with Solrock without Lunatone in play,
Sick.
right?
Yeah.
And then I mean I know obviously I just messed up, made a misplay, right? But I'm sure like someone would try to do that, right? So I think when we think of like hard cheating and we catch it, right? A lot of times it's stuff like people palming a card, stacking their deck. But I think a lot of cheating in the community is just like people doing stuff like that, right? Or I think the biggest one is like people like using the clock to their advantage, right?
Yeah.
Stalling, like trying to 1-0 people, right? And then that doesn't really get as cracked down on. And I think that kind of is a huge issue in the game, right? Because like you, even on stream sometimes people are like just like blatantly slow playing, or I know tons of people who just let their opponents get double prize penalties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know like what the best way to police something like that is, because I'm sure in a lot of cases, like most cases, probably like it's an accident or a mistake, but there are definitely like a lot of ways people can take advantage of that, or the system, I guess, right? And I guess Pokemon, like when they moved to the double prize penalty system, like they were trying to crack down on that, right? We're like, oh, like maybe drawing an extra card, getting DPL is harsh, but they're trying to crack down on that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think like as a community, it's like I feel like we're not hard enough maybe sometimes on things like that. For me, the biggest one is the pace of play stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but like when we have stuff like this where it's just like it's like stacking or like palming, it's like a lot, I don't know, easier to catch. So I kind of rambled there, but hopefully you get like the point I'm making.
No, I think it's a good
That
point.
I don't think this is isolated or anything. Like I think lots of stuff goes on. It's just this is super visible because it's like a stacking thing,
Yeah.
right? Whereas I think there's a lot of stuff that goes like unpunished or uncaught, like I guess in the community.
Yeah, I went back to the tournament page to see like how many names I recognize that have had like some sort of like allegation or
Mm-hmm.
controversy at some point.
Yep.
And there's actually quite a few. And it's like it's not important to note who those people are or whatever, but I mean like you and I hear a lot of things, right? Because we're involved with some of these like these high profile players or whatever. So we hear probably a lot more than what's shared publicly. And I mean I can count on, I don't know, it probably takes me two hands to count the amount of allegations I hear in a year, right? Like there's enough that
Yep.
I'm like, okay, like some stuff is going on here. I like my opinion about the clock stuff is a little bit different. I agree that the clock I think is an issue. But just like you, I've been playing forever, right? And I can't recall a single time where I felt stalled out or I felt like the clock was used against me, which is like really
Oh,
strange
there's
to
no
hear.
way, bro.
I cannot recall a single time. And it's not something that I do. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just if your opponent starts taking a long time, I think there's a way to address it. It doesn't fix anything. I think we need more judges. I think that's the solution. Like
But
get
I
more
don't think
judges
it's
looking.
more judges though. Because bro, like literally, like you watch the stream, right? Like
Yeah.
I gave my example to start thing. Like my opponent literally took 40 seconds to make an action, like in a losing position, right? Like a judge should be stepping, and like there's two judges watching our match, right? And like they didn't step in,
I'm
right?
surprised in that moment you
Or
didn't give him a little like I'm sorry,
I
brother,
did.
you
I
did
gave them
this one.
multiple times, right? And
Yeah.
eventually they finally said like he had to make an action, but then he like kept doing stuff, right? I'm not okay. I know he was in a losing position. Like my gut tells me he was definitely slowing it down a bit, but like I'm not 100% sure that he was
Yeah, yeah,
intentionally
yeah.
slow playing me, right?
No, no, I get you.
But then even like we go back a few weeks to the Gdansk stream, right? Like, bro, like Kaido was taking like 3 minutes for a Poke Gear. There's judges watching, right? So I think judges have a hard job, but I think they need to be better. Like when it comes to stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you watch the stream game and you see someone gets 3 minutes to do a Poke Gear, like now I'm playing at like my random table. It's like, oh well, on stream like they give people 3 minutes for hard decisions. Like why can't I take 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Or like we've kind of just accepted that like you can take like 2 minutes to prize check at the start of the game, right?
Which I think is
Like
wrong too.
that's not,
Yeah.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, so all these things, right? Like, I think need to be, like, I think just crack down on a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Like I take too long sometimes, right? So, like, I'm fine. Like, if like it just results in like more like warnings or penalties and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the way we get this stuff out of the game is we start policing on it, right? But I think the problem that we have is the judges aren't backed up by TPCI. I think the rule book is very ambiguous on some of these things, right? Like when it comes to stuff like slow play, like the rule book is basically, oh, like there's a guideline that should take 15 seconds per action. Otherwise, like the judge has to kind of decide like what slow play is, right? Like I think there needs to be either a better rule book or like they need to do a lot more training for the judges on what they're looking for when it comes to slow play. Right, being like trying to understand like which players in a disadvantageous position or not, and that does require the judges to like probably like, be a little up to date on the
Yeah.
game or play it a bit. Um, but yeah, like, I don't know, like to me, like stuff like that, like intentionally like slow playing, for example, like that is cheating, right?
No, I agree.
Um,
Yeah. I'm
and
just
we see it all the time.
Oh,
So
for sure. I think just like I don't know, maybe I've been very fortunate. Like maybe that's what's going on. I just haven't had personally too many issues with people clock stalling or anything like that. Like that's also not something that I'm interested in doing. Like I think you can recognize when you're in an advantageous spot and like whatever. But there's like there are levels to this, right? Like if there's 2 minutes on the clock and your opponent still has to take 6 prizes and you're taking your 10 seconds to do your actions, I think that's fair. You're playing within the rules, whatever. But like, there are some people, and like, I'm picking up what you're putting down in the sense of like, there are some people that will see that same situation, but like 12 minutes on the clock, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna stall out half of this time.
mhm.
Like, I think there is a line where it gets ridiculous, and I think that line needs to be enforced. But I also don't think it's impossible. I'm not like admitting defeat on this one. Like, I think we're within a range where we can enforce that. We can learn as a community how to gently nudge our opponents to hurry up. We can.
But we've been doing that forever, right? Like unless the judges start handing out like penalties more often for slow play, it's not going to be fixed, right? And I mean,
I
like
just don't think
tournaments
it's
are so
fair to put
large
it
now
all
that
on the
there's.
judges. I think that's my opinion on this. I
I'm
agree
not
with you.
putting it all on the judges. But I'm saying like already like we're at the point like even like 10 years ago, like we're talking about like oh like ask your opponent to play faster, call a judge if they're not playing faster. The judge is supposed to come watch. But then like there's too many people at the tournaments, like the judge just has to like watch for a bit. They go away. Same thing happens, right?
Hmm.
Um, So I'm saying like I understand the judges have a really hard time. I think just my main gripe I've had lately is I think on stream especially it's like super important that like the judges like are enforcing things like in a I guess a fair way or a clean way because there's big repercussions if like on stream things are not handled I guess well because then it kind of like leaks down to like all the other tables like everyone's gonna watch that on stream it sets the example or sets a precedent right
Hmm. It also creates a bad
so
product. Like it creates a terrible
yeah
product when you're watching at
100%.
home. Like I can count so many times. Like I don't watch stream often, but when I do, one of the biggest reasons why I turn off my stream is because it's the start of a game three, whatever. There's 10 minutes left, and people are taking 2 minutes to check their prizes, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's
right.
just the commentators just like talking about nothing, and it's just like it feels like there's so much fluff in our game that just needs to be removed, and like. Sure, the game isn't a great place. Like they've never had more players. They have no shortage of people tuning in or playing this game right now. But my opinion is the product can always be better. Like you can continuously build on your product to make it better. And when people are logging in for the first time and they see a guy looking at their deck for 2.5 minutes, it's like, what is this, right? So I think to your point, yes, we need to definitely crack down on this more. But like from a product perspective, it doesn't make any sense for the people up high at Pokemon to not enforce this. It makes no sense because you want to create a better
Yeah,
product, you want to make your game better. This does both of those things. It's like, what are we doing here? So I
yeah,
agree with you. I agree with you.
like
I
like
think
I'm
it's
saying, I'm not blaming the judges. I'm blaming like TPCI for not like giving them clear guidelines in the rule book or
yeah,
like of like what they should be enforcing. Because I think it's just for them. It's just like what do we do? Like everyone just accepted that like 2 minutes is a prize check, right?
which
So
shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
yeah,
I mean that's a conversation for another day. But
um,
yeah, no, definitely interesting conversation. I'm curious to see like what people think in the comments as well. But like this whole situation. I want to know exactly what you guys think down below. I mean, we've had a good conversation about it, but I'm sure like by the time this comes out on Wednesday, I'm sure there'll be more information, or maybe we'll touch on this back on next Wednesday as well. But yeah, we've ranted about this for a while, but it's been a good
yeah.
conversation.
So I guess TLDW, bad communication by Pokemon. Hopefully Gabrielle didn't cheat. It didn't cheat, but it doesn't look great.
No,
And then hopefully Pokemon does issue a statement after. So
this is
yeah.
the biggest scandal in Pokemon history, I think. If this does prove to be true, this is the best player. Well, I suppose the best senior player for a long time, and then like the second best player in the world, I think, closely undisputedly to Tord, right? Like I think we're kind of in that realm. Like you make an argument for a couple others. Anyways,
Mhm.
huge profile player, someone who like was flirting with a perfect season the entire time last year too, right? Like that's something that you got to take in consideration as well. Is that a conversation we need to have? Like if this comes out that this guy was actually cheating, we need to question the legitimacy of all the past things that we saw too. All of those things get brought into question, and I think it just becomes more and more interesting the more it goes along. How this happens, then it raises an even bigger conversation. Can you be perfect at this game? Can you have a perfect season without doing shady nonsense like this? Anyways, it opens up such a huge can of worms that I think is going to be so interesting uncovering for the next few months. But I can tell, there are some weeks where we come on Shift Gear and we don't know what to talk about. But this week we're pretty passionate about this one. There's quite a bit going on, so much so that we rambled the whole episode and didn't get to Stuttgart. So I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think so too. Like you said, it's unfortunate for sure. But hopefully we get more information about this. My gut tells me Pokemon's probably just not going to talk on this, and eventually we'll forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Gabrielle does get banned, then that'll get posted somewhere, and then we'll have another day of Twitter talk. But just unfortunate situation all around. Definitely taints the tournament, I think, and obviously one of the greatest stories or players potentially in our game. So just sad all around.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, we do a conversation here. For everyone going to Stuttgart, we do not have a preview for you. I'm sorry. Honestly, the preview is probably less valuable than the recap, so we'll go with the recap next week when it's all said and done. Ciaran, good luck out there. I don't know how much you played with Phantasmal Flames, but I'm going to pray for you because that can't be an easy situation to walk into that. But yeah, let us know down below how you feel about this whole situation. We want to hear from y'all. Hopefully this is the first Shift Gear episode in over a month that actually uploads correctly and has all the correct things. I don't have high hopes, but we'll see. If you have a second, I started my own personal channel. If you don't mind, go checking that out as well. Link it down below. And I will open the floor to Ciaran to spill whatever he wants to, shill whatever he wants to shill, or spill if he wants to spill. I don't know. Maybe he was stacking his A-spec all weekend. Let's tell us.
Cannot leak that, Aneil. But no. Nothing to spill, I think. I'll give another shout out. Shout out Joaquin. He's always in our comments. I met him at LAIC. Nice guy. But yeah, I'll be in Stuttgart this weekend. Come say hi. Otherwise, no, just shout out the Raptors, bro.
Cool. Yeah, the Raptors are trending as well as the Cavaliers, and I've been really invested in this game, and I don't know what the score is, so I'm excited to.
We won by 11.
Oh, dude, we're such a wagon this year, bro. 9-1 in our last 10. We're so good. I've had a very severe case of FOMO recently trying to play Pokemon. I have no upcoming tournaments on my limit list, so I've been my Arcanine. I've been flight shopping a little bit, so hoping they open up another round of Toronto Regionals Reg. Otherwise, I will be playing VGC and documenting my journey from VGC noob to VGC player for January 14th. So that actually low-key might be interesting.
That'd be a good video.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. Anyways, let us know down below how you feel. We'll stop ranting. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you all sticking with us after a month off. We'll be back next week with this Stuttgart recap. And if you see Ciaran in Stuttgart, definitely say hello to him. Teach him some German or something. That way he can intro the podcast next week. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Peace.
Later.